What's up, Internet? My name is Ralph, and welcome to the channel. In the wake of the tragic recent events in Utah, I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. Democratic pundits, as well as members of the base all across the internet and media, have been not only making light of, but in fact celebrating the loss of Charlie Kirk in the most disgusting of ways. And now they have taken to laying the blame at the feet of the victims, something that they have rallied against for the last 10 years and now have flipped completely on, which is about par for course when it comes to the Democratic Party. So, no surprise there. But the disgusting way in which they are accusing President Trump and Charlie Kirk's rhetoric as being the incitement for the violence that has been enacted upon them, it's insane. It is a form of gaslighting nigh unheard of. At such a scale, it's mind boggling. It's like your partner punching you in the mouth for saying something they didn't like and then telling you that it's your fault you got punched in the mouth. So, in about the next 10 minutes, I'm going to lay out 10 years of violence from the Democratic base in cities across America, as well as the dehumanization of their political opposition by Democratic leadership. Here we go.
I'm going to say something really troubling now. The United States is not in a good position to handle what just happened, to deal with the truly awful murder of Charlie Kirk. As Americans trust and respect people of the other party less and less, come to view them more and more as the enemy.
To just be grossly generalistic, you could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables. Right? The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it. Now some of those folks, they are irredeemable, but thankfully they are not America.
President-elect Hillary Clinton saying Trump supporters aren't Americans almost 10 years ago is wild.
There is simply less trust that is how our disagreements are going to be resolved. And in that world, people are much more likely to see the shooting of someone like Charlie Kirk not as an outlier, but as emblematic of what their political opponents want to do. Now, this didn't necessarily, and hasn't necessarily meant that instances of political violence have escalated or will escalate to something scarier.
The 3rd Precinct of the Minneapolis Police Department on fire. Nearby businesses ablaze.
Which remains unchanged outside of the 3rd Precinct. Just a group out there engaged in peaceful activity.
Police scanner audio and footage from outside the precinct provide insight into what happened.
9901 emergency. We got individuals breaching the gate at the 3rd Precinct. We also got people trying to breach the front doors.
Something more like a democratic breakdown and a rise in mass violence. That's not what happened when Trump was shot last year. But things are a little bit different now than they are then, which brings me to my second reason why I'm so worried. In that past year, the crisis of American democracy has escalated severely. Much of that blame needs to be laid at President Trump's feet.
You have members of your cabinet that are being booed out of restaurants, who have protesters taking up at their house, who's saying no peace, no sleep. No peace, no sleep. And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
He repeatedly and explicitly says that the enemy, what he would say is the enemy, is not legitimate. He recently called for war on the city of Chicago. He has expanded his powers in ways that genuinely trouble the democratic order.
Republicans don't just threaten our personal rights and economic security. They're a threat to our very democracy. They refuse to accept the will of the people. They embrace political violence.
There's a better way to do these things, you know?
The fires devastated the Uptown neighborhood, scorching someone's livelihood, someone's neighborhood store.
The Family Dollar's right there. I walk there probably 2-3 times a day.
Even someone's home.
You burn down their own. They burn down their my stuff, my crib. I got kids that live there. I work hard to live there. I got a wife.
I watch people who weren't even from out here running into Family Dollar, grabbing stuff. Like, you guys destroyed our community and y'all get to go back home, and this is what we're left with.
If y'all notice, a lot of these businesses have boards on them that say Black Lives Matter. We get our tacos from over here, man. It's so sad to see this community that we go to. You know, we get our phone cards from here, man. We get our hot Cheetos and Takis from here when we don't want to go all the way over to Walmart and Meijer. And just to see all this desecrated, you know, it's ridiculous.
Watch out, bro. Hey,
I'm sorry, sir. I'm very sorry about that, man.
Yeah, really.
Hey, I have nothing to do with that. I'm trying to stop this shit here. Dude, I'm gonna help this guy. I don't give a fuck if I get beat up. They just threw a bottle at this guy. Please, guys.
Hey, somebody control that. Shoot me. You want to fight?
So what? Just because y'all are too scared to go deal with the cops, y'all just gonna burn the whole town? Y'all got mace and shit like that. Y'all take your issues up with them. This is them. No, it's not. Do you know how many people? A furniture store is the police? A furniture store is the police? A dealership is the police? I'm talking about the PO office.
This is a state-owned building, bro. This has
Bust my shit.
Then you need to go. For real. You need here at all.
Hey, I suggest you leave because they ain't playing right now.
Right.
They gonna fuck this shit up.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Tell you, bro.
Go ahead. Do my business. I don't give a fuck. Come on up.
And then we've got this absolute peach right here. University of Michigan professor says Charlie Kirk's assassination is solution to violent rhetoric. University of Michigan assistant professor Charles H.F. Davis stated on Thursday that the assassination of Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk is a solution to violent rhetoric spewed by empowered people. Davis's research broadly focuses on racism, oppression, and structures of domination in U.S. higher education, according to the Midwesterner. In addition to defending Kirk's murder, David retweeted several posts that celebrated the assassination. These are the people that are telling you that it is Trump's fault for his assassination attempts, that it's Charlie Kirk's fault he was assassinated, for inviting people to open debate. So there you have it. More than 10 years of democratic violence and dehumanization of their political opposition, all the way from the riots of Ferguson in 2014 to the riots all across the country in 2020. And then you have President-elect Hillary Clinton nearly 10 years ago referring to Donald Trump supporters as irredeemable, deplorable, racist, bigot, fascist, Islamophobes, you name it. And we go back 7 years to Maxine Waters calling on the constituency to harass their political opposition and, in fact, political leadership to such a degree that they cannot sleep. Deprivation of sleep is like a war crime, I'm pretty sure. But they're doing this under the guise of protest, of course. It's always peaceful protest as buildings burn. You saw all these black Americans talking about how their homes and their cities were burned down. You've got that poor gentleman there talking about how he saw people not even from the neighborhood, not from that community there, looting and burning and rioting. And now him and his children don't have a home. But that gentleman from Vox will have you believe that it is Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk's rhetoric that got Charlie Kirk assassinated. Democratic leadership, and especially Democratic media, are trying to gaslight the American public into believing that it has not been the left that has been provoking and committing violence for more than a decade at this point. I'll have you believe that it's Donald Trump and Charlie Kirk that brought this upon themselves, when it has consistently been Democratic leadership along with left-wing media dehumanizing conservatives, Republicans, and anyone that opposes them. Yet again, I cannot stress this enough. How do you tell people for a decade that somebody is a racist, a bigot, a Nazi that must be stopped, and then claim that you're not the one inciting violence? And you know, these people will accuse you of making threats for simply at this point saying that I am tired of the violence from the left wing at large, and I will defend myself if necessary. Saying that gets you accused of making threats. These people fundamentally misunderstand what defense is, what attack is. As they attack people, like you saw at the end of the video, the group of men attempting to prevent those rioters from destroying that gas station, they're armed. But never once do you see one of them raise an arm. Never once do you see a weapon brandished. While the other side is actively pushing forward, is actively pushing against armed individuals. And these people are so deranged that they will accuse the people that they are approaching of attacking them. And that's exactly what they're doing now. All the people out there that are standing up and saying, hey, we're not doing this anymore, we're going to start defending ourselves, are being accused of making threats. Absurd. Absurd. That poor elderly man that was simply trying to save his business from being burned down was knocked unconscious. And then in the background, you hear people saying, oh no, he was spraying people with his fire extinguisher. Yeah, because you were trying to burn his business down. And then they want to act as if he was attacking people, as they were committing arson, looting. So I'm not sitting here while people on the left try and gaslight America into believing that Trump and Kirk brought their assassination attempts on themselves, that it's their rhetoric that is inciting violence in America, when I can show you Democratic leadership and the Democratic base calling on committing violence for the last 10 years, dehumanizing their political opponents on a mass scale 24/7 all across the media landscape for the last 10 years. It's like reasonable people in America are in an abusive relationship with the Democratic Party, the way they constantly attack and assault our ideals, the way they constantly gaslight us, commit these large-scale violent acts, rioting, destroying property, dozens left dead in the wake of the 2020 riots. And it's exactly what a narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic partner would do in an interpersonal relationship. It's a one-for-one behavior just on a mass scale. And I, for one, am not going to listen to it. And I'm not going to stay quiet about it anymore. So there you go. an entire decade of Democratic leadership dehumanizing their opposition and Democratic base burning shit down when they don't get their way. That's going to be it for today. I hope you guys are all out there living life to the fullest. Hit like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. We'll see you guys next time.